What's up, Thumpers? Welcome to San Diego Comic-Con. Hyperheroes is here.
Ooh.
Super excited to be here. It's day 1 officially. Yesterday was day 0. Preview night, we got to go check out the DC Universe activation, which is conveniently located right by where we're staying. And it was a great time. We got to go check out some stuff. They had stuff set up from Swamp Thing, from Titans, Doom Patrol, and the Harley Quinn, a series that's coming up, and they had like a mock-up of the '92 Batmobile. They had a whole bunch of props,
from
stuff.
like all of DC history.
Yeah.
You know, like they had Wonder Woman's helmet from the '70s show. They had like concept art from that.
Batman
props,
animated series,
costumes.
Yeah,
it was
costumes
rad.
from Titans. It was really cool. We got to walk through all of those. The Court Owls one was really cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
If you guys are at Comic-Con, definitely check out the activation. I think you can just sign up on DCUniverse.com. It's going to be here till Sunday. I think it's definitely worth checking out. It's really fun.
We solved a crime.
We did.
We
in
helped
Dick
solve
Grayson's
a crime.
apartment.
That's right.
That's right. And that's kind of where we got the first little bit of news that this Titans trailer was coming out. And they didn't say exactly what time. It said 6 a.m., but it didn't give a time zone.
I imagined it was 6 a.m. Pacific because that would mean 9 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was kind of bummed because
Why 3 a.m. our time?
right before we walked in there, I was a little bit let down by like the reveal, only because right before we walked in there, I was talking to somebody that I knew at DC, and he sort of let me know like, oh yeah, the trailer's coming out tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And I was like, oh, cool. And then when we went and did the thing, that was the answer. And I was like, man, I wish that guy hadn't told me. So
Why don't you spoil that for me?
So this would have been a little like, oh, we solved it, Adam, it's coming, you know. But I was like, man, I already knew that from like 5 minutes ago, you know, like.
And it's so funny too because I went on Twitter, social media, to look and see if other people were tweeting about other press, and not a lot of press was tweeting that the trailer was coming out. And I'm like, did people not do that Dick Grayson loft activation? You probably should have. It's kind of important, but nevertheless, the trailer's here. Going into this, do you have what are your expectations for this?
Woke up this morning and saw people already tweeting about it, and I saw like Kevin Smith's response, and I'm already like, man, okay, here we go, let's do this. You know, my expectations are. I need to reserve them because of a couple different things. This is a TV show from, I imagine, some of the same people that are doing Flash, Arrow, the Berlantiverse, the Arrowverse. Do you know what I mean? Like that's different than. Those are all kind of similar, and it's different from Warner Brothers movies doing DC characters, but it is also different than, I'm talking like vibe, tonally, it's different than the Netflix Defenders Marvel stuff, it's different than like Cloak and Dagger and Runaways, which are kind of another sort of an audience that they're tapping into, which I feel like CW is mostly family-friendly kind of a thing, which is not a bad thing, it's oftentimes a good thing, especially for some of those characters, and then like the Cloak and Dagger Runaway stuff is like a little bit older, but still like for teens and kind of young people, which I think is cool. And then the Netflix stuff is I think trying to be more for the adult kind of a fan base. So I have to remember those expectations, but then also I do have the expectations of I think that the Titans as a group, as a franchise, is DC's second best group after the Justice League. I put them up on a, if the Avengers are the Justice League, the Defenders are the Teen Titans. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they're like the B team, but like in the good way. They're also a lot of times DC's answer to the X-Men with how the relationships of those characters play. And not only that, but they've had 2 incredibly successful cartoon shows with different tones, but still it's cool that it's the same voice actors. But then you have the real fun one with Teen Titans Go, which I heard the movie is great. And then also the original Teen Titans cartoon show, which was it was almost like Justice League level epic, but was still for kids and had that great Glenn Murakami design and everything. So I got a lot of feelings about Titans. They're all swimming all over the place, man. I got a lot of expectations. So what are you guys going to do for the first live action iteration of some of these characters? And I'm excited that's happening because it's I wanted this as a movie for years. And it feels that the Warner Brothers plan is not the same as Marvel Studios, where they have that sort of mapped out, this year we're coming out with these 2 movies. This year we're coming out with these 3 movies. The next year we're coming out with these 3 movies. The next year we're coming out with a sequel to the first 2 movies. This sort of building upon thing. It's different at Warner Brothers. So even though they have all of those characters, we're not getting a Teen Titans movie. We're not getting a Doom Patrol movie. We're getting the shows. Because TV people are we can move way faster.
Let's make these babies.
Yeah, TV people are let's go. And I have a feeling the only reason we haven't seen a Booster Gold as a character or as a show in any of those versions is because movie people have, I think, told them, hey, hang on, we're going to do Booster.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be Greg Berlanti.
Right, and it's like, I'm sure TV people are like, okay, but then like do it, because we could do it right now.
Yeah,
They're probably like, we're just
going
to...
next year it could come out.
Absolutely, because just TV production just moves way faster, and, so... Yeah, man. How do you feel about going into this thing?
I'm excited because I like a lot of these characters, and like Titans and Teen Titans Go, or Teen Titans and Teen Titans Titans Go was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing for me is like I've always felt like Robin is a character from the Batman universe that hasn't. We got him in 2 movies. We had him in the '60s show.
But
he was great in the animated series.
But did we really get him in those movies? You
know
what I mean? It was
right?
like the Chris O'Donnell version, and then like
it was
the
like
John Blake.
It was like a hybrid of like Robin and Nightwing, but also like not really the truest.
And I liked it.
Character. Yeah,
I liked the John Blake character, and I liked Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I thought he was great.
The intent is great.
But I know you're saying it. We haven't gotten that Dick Grayson.
Yeah. And I want that Dick Grayson. I want him to sort of be, at this point, if he's not an equal, being very close to being an equal of Batman.
Yeah, man.
So we'll see sort of what that relationship is.
Okay.
All right.
Should we do this?
Let's do it.
Just full disclosure, we got Cameron Rice sitting off to the side here. He's waiting to peep this trailer. Cameron, say what's up. There we go. That's Cameron's hand.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Okay, here it is. It's Raven.
Who are you?
Everything led me here. To you. You're the boy from the circus.
You got no place to hide.
It's good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'm feeling like a villain, got a hunger inside. Nowhere to hide from all of this.
Please. Can you help me?
Madness, madness.
Where's Batman? Fuck Batman.
There's something evil inside of me.
You're scared. I get it. But you can control it. You don't know what I've become.
Sometimes, when I feel the darkness, it feels good. My mom says there's no such thing as monsters.
I used to think that. I was wrong.
Madness, madness.
Okay.
For anyone who
All
couldn't
right.
hear what Cameron said.
After Raven was like, my mom used to say there were no such things as monsters, Cameron's like, fuck your mom.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely murdered
here's
people.
my first reaction to
Yeah.
this this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think the concept of doing Titans is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I sort of thought before seeing the fact that it's TVMA, meaning it's more intended for mature audiences because of language
Mm-hmm.
and violence, I was sort of under the impression that Titans was going to be something that would sort of be more for everyone or live in sort of that more teen world, but also accessible to a younger audience, especially when you're trying to launch a brand new service and you're
Right.
hoping to get everyone onto that service.
I think this is going to be the first show
It is.
on there. Like, we're
This-
not going to
this
get
is-
Swamp Thing until
Right.
like next year. We're not going
Yeah.
to get Doom
This
Patrol.
is supposed to launch with the DC Universe
Yeah.
next or in September, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and I get that DC Universe, the app, will have a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
It'll have Batman the Animated Series and a lot of animated stuff, all the old movies. But I would have imagined that if you really want to entice audiences or people to buy into this, that your first show out the gate would be something that's like, oh, let's make it for everyone, and then we can gradually change the tone.
But listen, to bring up what Cameron said, I feel like the only reason they had that TVMA was because of the F-bomb.
Sure.
Because the implied violence, I'm like, we've seen that in shows.
Yeah.
And like Cameron was mentioning, like Star Trek Discovery did the same thing. Star Trek Discovery was
Yeah.
launched with CBS All Access or whatever. Same thing. It's their main brand. It's a new Star Trek. We're going to get people on board. Star Trek is for the whole family. And then there was an F-bomb in that show. And then there was violence, but really it's not. It's the same as every other Star Trek show, like nothing too crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yes, it's a little odd that that's in the trailer, but I have a feeling that
It's not going to be.
it's not going to be prevalent in
consistent
every.
thing in
Yeah,
the-
it's not going to be
yeah.
a consistent thing. It might be this sort of like that's in the pilot, just to
Yeah.
let people know like it's different.
Yeah.
Fuck Batman,
Yeah.
just to let people
It
know.
could also be in there to really just inform what sort of state the relationship is of Batman
Sure,
and Robin.
of course, it's a good shortcut. My overall impression with this right now is it feels like a combination of the show Gotham, which I don't love, with like Netflix's Daredevil. When they were showing Dick Grayson in his little suit and tie
yeah.
in like that interrogation room, I was like, this is Daredevil vibes. This is like Netflix Daredevil. This is like I'm looking forward to seeing him in that side of his life, that character, and I like that the inciting incident in this is Raven showing up. I
Yeah.
think that's really smart because if you go back to some of the origins in the first comics with these characters, with like the George Perez, Marv Wolfman, the new Teen Titans, it was sort of building up to Raven and the mystery of her father, who ends up being basically the devil, Trigon.
Yeah.
Like, and we remember that from the cartoon show and stuff. So I think it's smart that she's like the character who kind of gets everybody together. I like that she's younger and Dick Grayson's older.
Yeah.
I like that Starfire looks like she's older. Beast Boy might be a little bit younger. It's that picking and choosing of like what ages of these characters are like the best versions of the characters. It's like
Yeah.
Tom Holland is 16 Spider-Man because that's kind of the best version of Spider-Man. And then all the other characters are a little bit. Jessica Jones is an adult. We don't need a teenage Jessica Jones show. We know that she's a full-grown woman.
Yeah.
So I liked that. But like the thing about, I feel like some of that edginess is definitely them trying to get the Gotham audience, the DC Universe movies audience, as opposed to coming out of the gate with like that sort of more family friendly vibe. I think that it looks good. It looks better than I kind of thought it was going to. Some of the effects looked pretty good when Starfire was doing her thing.
Yeah.
We've got lights shining our faces right now, so I couldn't see like some of the super dark stuff.
It's a dark.
I know that Beast Boy was jumping and doing a thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, was he turning green? Was he green?
It looked like it. Yeah.
It looked like it. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't, quite tell. I'm really curious about the show and if they're gonna release the whole season or if it'll be episode week to week.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know exactly what the drop plan is. I don't know if it's meant to be like Netflix, if they're intending to drop the entire season, or if it's going to be an episodic basis,
Like a Hulu or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think either one could be interesting. I sort of like the idea of being able to binge the show, especially
Sure,
because
at least
I don't
have
think
it available.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know. I don't remember exactly how many episodes it is. I think it's supposed to be 10. It could be less or it could be more. But I also do like the fact that this Robin is a little bit older now. How old he is,
Yeah.
I'm not exactly
We've
sure.
also heard rumors he's gonna go from Robin to Nightwing in this.
Yeah, he's going to
Makes
transition
sense.
to another character.
Makes sense.
Which would make sense. Yeah, 100%. And I do like the fact like this show could very much, if it wanted to, just focus on Robin being Robin and less on Dick Grayson. And I like the fact that we're gonna have time to sort of explore both sides of the character. How does Robin differ from Dick Grayson, and then how does Dick Grayson differ now versus how he is when he's younger? And yeah, I do like the fact that they decide to mix up the ages of all the characters, because I think it just adds a unique dynamic. And Robin is supposed to be sort of this like mentor / leader character, and how does that sort of play into it? And is he already like that from the get-go, or do we have to sort of see the evolution of that character throughout the series? But Hawk and Dove
We'll
being
see.
in there too.
Some of the effects like look pretty cool when the guy fired that gun.
Yeah,
That bullet,
yeah.
that slow-mo bullet thing. Here's the other thing, though. Here's the thing I kind of struggle with. I have very strong opinions about a lot of these very popular superhero characters when they're stories where they kill people. And I feel like the storytellers behind these adaptations don't have those same strong feelings. They don't have the same strong feelings as like comic book writers do. There are certain rules in comic book land that comic book writers, DC Comics as an institution, will never break. They will never have Batman kill. They will never have, they might have him cuss and that kind of thing. Unless if it's main universe, that never happens. But they'll do alternate versions, whatever.
Right.
Even when people cite like The Dark Knight Returns, he kills. It's like they went out of their way. Frank Miller went out of his way to be like rubber bullets. Like the comic book creators have very strong feelings about it, and they feel like it's a line that a lot of these characters should never be allowed to cross. Superman should never be allowed to kill and then be able to come back from it, just to show us he went to a place of he hit real rock bottom and then he sort of comes back. They never do that. But there's so many adaptations, movies, TV shows, where the TV and movie people, they don't care as much.
They blur the lines a
They
lot,
blur
yeah.
the lines, but they also, I feel like, they don't have those same strong feelings. Maybe they hear the idea and they think it's corny. they hear the idea that these are rules in comic book land, and they're like, well, that's not realistic. We're going to have Superman kill. We're going to have Robin kill. We're going to show that he's hit rock bottom, and then he'll come back from the darkness. You know, we're showing Batman kill, but then he'll come back to be like, to show that he's now a hero, as opposed to having characters that are heroic to begin with. Characters like Steve Rogers in his Captain America movies. Yeah, he was corny as hell back then, but like you get to a point where he is now, and they've established those sort of those foundations to that's why the character is like that. I struggle with that, and it's going to be tough for me to watch this knowing Dick Grayson is killing people, and that's what the storytellers are trying to do. Because I kind of feel like we've already seen this as well. You know what I mean? I cannot think of any sort of angle where TV creators, TV people are like, well, hang on, though. We're having Dick Grayson killed, but just wait because of the story. It will necessitate him doing that for XYZ reasons. I can't think of any XYZ reasons for me to be like, cool, I'm on board. Instead, I'm just like cynically kind of like, okay, man, like it's like a shortcut, and I would have rather have seen the Dick Grayson who, even if he's different from Batman, separated from Batman, even if he says fuck Batman, which I believe, right? Even if they butt heads. Remember in the cartoon show, why did they butt heads? Because Batman was too brutal. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to see that Dick Grayson, where Batman beats up a guy in front of his kid, and Dick Grayson's like, I'm done, and he leaves. Yeah. And in here we have him snapping necks and cashing checks, and I'm like, this is like, this is now cheesy and corny. Yeah. This is now overused sometimes to have that shortcut of like, get it? He's edgy. Like he's hitting rock bottom, and then we'll bring him back from the darkness. It's like, well, what if he
wasn't?
Yeah, man.
What if he left Batman because he was over that lifestyle?
So I'm trepidatious about this. I'm cautious about this, but
yeah, we don't. We've only got about
even like
a month or two
Netflix
to
Daredevil.
go.
Even like Netflix Daredevil, he never crossed that line, and then it led to season 2, him versus Punisher, and their philosophy, and I love that shit.
Yeah, that rooftop scene was great.
You know, like I love that, as opposed to the Ben Affleck Daredevil who killed people. It's like, you hear that? That's the C train, and he killed that guy, and to me it's kind of a less interesting character choice. Yeah. Versus the one where he's like, I'm Catholic, I can't kill anybody, but I beat the shit out of people every night. It's like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we've got about 8 to 10 I'd say about maybe 10 to 12 weeks before this thing drops.
Okay. Okay.
So we'll see, but we'll definitely come back to this, and if there's another trailer, we'll do another reaction to that, and we'll definitely be doing some sort of a review or watch along possibly of Titans when it drops.
That'd be cool.
In the meantime, guys, make sure you guys are sticking to Hyper RPG every single day. We're doing a bunch of trailer reactions and reviews of content. We've got some cool interviews lined up for the rest of the day, and it should be a good old time. Yes,
thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much to the patrons for getting us to Comic-Con. It's been a long journey, and without you guys, we wouldn't have been able to do what we're doing here today, this entire weekend, actually, with the entire crew. So thank you guys so much. If you want to join the Patreon, make sure you guys go over to patreon.com/hyperrpg. We've got a bunch of different tiers, and we've got some cool stuff to announce on the Patreon as well. So
doing the musical, it's up there.
It's up there.
Hector, $100,000. What is it?
$1 million.
Yeah. 20,000? We can do it for 20,000.
We can do it for 20K. Hector, where can everybody find you?
Find me running around Comic-Con this weekend. Follow my stuff at Hector is Funny, and I have my little schedule, and we'll be tweeting stuff out.
That's right.
Hector is Funny. Adam?
You can just find me at Adam Havoc. I've got a panel tonight with Cameron Jess, how to be a superstar host. We're hoping to be able to get that footage so we can re-upload it to the channel. In the meantime, you can just find me on all social medias at Adam Havoc, and then, like I said, we'll be back doing more coverage. Hall H is coming up. A big day for us. So we'll see you then.